Good evening, everyone. It's your host Bibusha, and welcome back to Nepal Today, Truth and Integrity, where we discuss issues that shape the future of our country. On tonight's episode, we will be tackling an issue that affects all of us: corruption and the need for integrity in Nepal. Corruption seeps into every level of society. So, how do we push back? To help us explore this, I am being joined by some incredible guests tonight, and they will be sharing their personal experiences. So, before we jump into the discussion, let me introduce our guests and ask them to share a little about their backgrounds. To start off, we have Monika, an expert in cybersecurity. Monika, could you tell us about your journey?
Thanks, Bibusha. I have been working in the field of cybersecurity for about 7 years now. I started as a software engineer but quickly shifted to cybersecurity after seeing how vulnerable our systems are. In Nepal, digital security is often overlooked and corruption plays a big part in this. So my work focuses on building secure systems and raising awareness about the importance of cybersecurity.
That's amazing, Monica. Up next, we have two brothers, Amsamsha and Arzin, who run a construction business together. Amsamsha, could you share how you and Arzin got started?
Of course, Bibusha. My brother and I started our construction business like about 5 years ago. We saw a lot of potential infrastructure development in Nepal and wanted to build something that stood for quality and integrity. Running a business in a construction line here is not easy, though. We have faced some different problems, especially dealing with customers and corrupt practices. But we have stuck to our principle, and that has been key to our growth.
Building the company wasn't that easy. It's not just about making profit, it's the thing doing it the right way. Even when corruption seems like an easy path, we have built a movement where we have to make a decision. But we are proud in our business, which reflect our integrity.
That's amazing, guys. Finally, we have Biraj, a self-made entrepreneur who runs a successful interior firm now. Biraj, could you tell us about your journey?
Thank you, Bibusha. I started my interior design firm about 8 years ago. I didn't have much to begin with, just a passion for designing. Doing business in Nepal was not that easy. I faced situations where I could have taken shortcuts or engaged in corruption. But I have always believed in myself and building my business with integrity. Today, my firm works on high-end projects with best clients because of transparency and honesty.
It's clear that each of you have built something meaningful in your field, despite the challenges of corruption. Now let's dive into how corruption affects your industry and what can we do to foster a culture of integrity. Let's start with you, Monica. When people talk about corruption, most of us think it's about bribes and politics, but cybersecurity isn't usually a part of the conversation. How do you deal with these problems?
Corruption is a huge issue in cybersecurity, especially in a country like Nepal, where digital infrastructure is still developing. If key stakeholders in the government or private sectors are corrupt, it leads to weak systems, lack of investment in robust cybersecurity measures, and even internal sabotage. I have seen instances where corrupt officials grant contracts to unqualified companies, which results in poorly implemented cybersecurity solutions. The systems we rely on become vulnerable, leaving our data or privacy exposed.
So, corruption isn't just about money changing hands, rather, it's about eroding trust in the systems we depend on.
Yes, it's true.
Then, how do you tackle these issues?
We focus on training and raising awareness. The more people know about the risk, the more pressure there is for transparency. Integrity has to come from both the top down and the bottom up in cybersecurity.
That's such an important point. Now let's shift over to Amsamsha and Arzin. You both run a business, your own business, so it must mean that you have to deal with government, agencies and regulations. How does corruption affect your operations?
Corruption is a daily struggle for us. We have been encountered issue with getting permits or passing inspection where bribes are accepted. It creates a real difficult environment for honest peoples and honest business too. If we don't comply with corrupt practices, we lose time and money. But if we do, it's morally wrong.
Exactly. And it's not just the government officials, sometimes you face corruption within the supply chain too. If one link is corrupt, it can delay or jeopardize an entire project. We have built a company on integrity, so we refuse to pay bribes. What that means, it faces a lot of problems which delays its it's a tough choice.
That sounds very frustrating. How do you guys keep going when you're surrounded with such challenges?
By building strong relationships and focusing on creating a network of like-minded partners, we have found success by collaborating with people who also prioritize integrity, even though it's more difficult.
Speaking of integrity, Biraj, you are someone who has built a career from the ground up without resorting to shortcuts. What's your take on the role of integrity in Nepal's current climate?
For me, integrity is everything. I come from a humble background and there were definitely opportunities to take shortcuts. But I always believe the success built in corruption is fragile. You may succeed in a short term, but in the long run, trust is a most valuable thing.
That's an inspiring philosophy. But how do you resist the temptation to take the easy way out?
It's about the long game. I focus on gaining people's trust and belief. It's harder at first, but in the long run, it will give you a solid foundation. Also, I have learned that it's crucial to surround yourself with people who share your values. The business environment is challenging, but by staying true to the principle, you'll find your way through.
Wow, it's clear that integrity plays a critical role, whether you're building a business, navigating your daily life, or protecting a network. But the question remains, how do we fix this? How do we promote a culture of integrity in a system that seems so deeply rooted in corruption?
Education is key. The more people know about the impact of the corruption, how it weakens our economy, infrastructures, and even personal safety, the more people demand change. It also needs stronger rules and better protection for the people who report problems.
Agreed. And we need more transparency at all levels. From how government contracts are awarded to how the taxes are spent. The more transparent the system is, the harder it's for corruption to live.
Ultimately, it comes down to the individual choices. Like each of us has to act with integrity, even when it's difficult. Like if enough people will make that choice, the system will change.
Thank you all for sharing your knowledge and experiences. Corruption is a complex issue, but as we've heard today, integrity is the solution we all need to commit to, as individuals and as a society as a whole. Thanks again to our guests Monika, Biraj, Amsamsha and Arzin for sharing your views and for joining us, and to our viewers for tuning in. Let's keep this conversation going. Change begins with each of us. And on that note, I would like to bid my goodbyes, and remember, integrity is our strongest weapon against corruption. Have a good day, everyone.